Welcome to Agile Coaching Roundtable. So today is the ninth session of ACRT and third session in our ongoing Scrum Master series. So the topic for today is how to internalize or humanize Agile coaching. So if you have not watched our last sessions for last two sessions in this ongoing series, I would be tagging those two sessions link in the YouTube channel on the top right corner. And last session we spoke about how do we gain trust of team members and how do we get accustomed to the team dynamics and how do we go about starting up a Scrum Master journey in any project. So that is what we had spoken about. And in that process, we have realized that there were questions asked as in how do we really gain that trust and how do we humanize this entire agile coaching. When I say agile coaching, that doesn't mean it is only for agile coaches. It is also for the Scrum Masters as well, because Scrum Master is also a team level coach. So that is the reason why wherever I say it's agile coaching, it is applicable for Scrum Masters as well. So in this session, we are going to cover how are we going to internalize the agile coaching and or humanize the agile coaching, and how are we going to gain the trust of your team members. What are the soft skills that are required, and how do we approach your team. So last time when we spoke about, we told that at least for first 2 weeks, we are not supposed to start our transformation journey or maybe going and giving out your changes or trying to improve things or change anything, right? So what do we do in these first 2 weeks? How do we gain that trust is what we are going to learn in this session. So on that note, let me share my screen, and I'm just turning off my video so that we don't face any quality issues. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Okay. Yeah. First of all, let us try to understand what is agile coaching. Or when I say what is agile coaching, here we are trying to understand how do we coach teams and what journey of a Scrum Master or an agile coach is. How do we coach, or what is that coaching all about? The International Coach Federation, that is ICF, defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and a creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. And also, before going on to further in this session, I would like to also mention that this entire session on how to internalize the agile coaching I had covered as a part of Agile Network India in the month of January. And this was the very same topic, very same presentation that I had covered. So people who have already joined my session might already know what I'm going to cover in this session. But people who have not attended that session can learn from this session. So if you are if you have already attended that session and you have some more doubts to clarify, you can get that answers in this session. Okay. On that note, what is agile coaching? International Coach Federation defines coaching as a partnering with clients. So here client means coaches in case of coach, mentees in case of mentors, and in general, whoever is ready or whoever is getting coached is known as your clients. Okay, so coaching as a partnering with clients. Here, it is not supervising or managing or controlling. It is coaching, means partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process. Why are we saying thought-provoking? Because a typical coach does not give solutions. He raises the right questions so that uh, I mean a thought process is been provoked in the client so that they realize solutions to their problems. So it's a thought provoking and a creative process. And why it's a creative process? Because you cannot have any particular template when you go to coach people, team, program, whatever. That inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Here, with this thought provoking and creative process, it inspires clients to maximize their personal and professional potential. So we as coaches or we as Scrum Masters, we are empowering and enabling them to realize or maximize their personal and professional potentials. So this is what an agile coaching is as per ICF. So even as per the definition, it's entirely about partnership and relationship. So please understand that whenever you join your project as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, you are not going with any particular template in your mind. That is one thing. Second thing is, it is not as monotonous or as mechanical as people think. It is a uh, very much a relationship that we build with our clients. When I say clients, again, whoever we are coaching. So it could be our team members, it could be our customer or whoever. So it is a very relationship kind of a thing or a partnership kind of a thing wherein we coach our clients. Okay. I would like to ask two quiz questions over here. I would like you guys to either give out the answers, or if you're not comfortable speaking, you can also give chat your or maybe type in your answers. So I would like you guys to give me the answer for your first question. Are Scrum Masters and Agile coaches same as Agile leaders? Yes or no? What according to you, Scrum Master and Agile coaches are? Are they Agile leaders or not?
Yes, they are same.
Yes, I get answers as yes, I get no as also an answer. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not
Now,
able to type. That's why I
no,
mentioned
no,
that.
that is fine. Absolutely. No, no, that is absolutely fine. Ideally, it would be even more encouraging if we speak rather than chat or type, right? I also understand the situations, so I won't force anyone to like talk or maybe come on video. But it is more encouraging if it is like two-way interaction or communication. So that is absolutely fine, Vishaka. Yeah. Second question. As a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, what do you do when one of your team members is not cooperating with you? First option is talk to him. Second option is report him to his manager. Third option is leave him alone. Fourth is force him to cooperate. Fifth is none of above.
Yeah.
Talk to
So
him.
first option. Yeah. Talk to him.
Yeah, first option.
Okay. Any other options anyone thinks? Okay. Yeah. So the answer for the first question is yes. Scrum Masters and Agile coaches are Agile leaders. Why I am saying this is first of all, why did I ask this question? These questions. First thing is the rationale behind asking these questions is we ourselves, when we start our journey as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, we think that we are not leaders, or we think that we are just some kind of a manager who is going to just do their come and do their job, and he or she or I or you will just go there and do some mechanical job, improve things and move on. That is the general perception of scrum masters that they have about themselves. But in reality, we all are agile leaders. So why we are saying leaders? Because people look up to you when it comes to giving them knowledge or teaching, coaching in terms of agile. Or people listen to you, people follow you, people get empowered by you and enabled by you. These are all the reasons why we we should be thinking that we are all agile leaders. Please get that thing in our in your mind very clearly. We all are agile leaders. Second is, why did I ask this question, and how is it related to in this entire thing, right? So this was the question. I mean, whenever I kind of mentor budding scrum masters or agile coaches, this is a typical question people ask me. That this is the question that interviewer asks you: what will you do when one of your team member is not joining the meetings or not cooperating, basically? So I asked them, what do you think you should be doing? So surprisingly, people give me an answer as report him to his manager. I really don't understand why people think that you are not capable of doing this in the terms of, I mean, you cannot talk to that person, or you cannot explain him the or convince him means or her as well, and get that person cooperated with entire team. Because you don't think yourself as an agile leader. The moment you don't think yourself an agile leader, you think you do not have that power, or you do not have that authority, or you do not have that capability in dealing with the situation. Because we are still having that blockage or that conditioning of working in an hierarchical structure.
I have
What?
one question, Ramya.
Yes.
When we say leaders, okay, to define in words, see, because we all are working in different organizations, there are certain key areas to be completed or fulfilled by each person. Though we call us as an agile coach or agile leaders or scrum master, whatever terminology we are using, we have certain responsibilities to complete, right? And while doing that, we get a lot of obstacles. So if we are asked, like in my case,
Mm-hmm.
mm, I'm really not sure that when to intervene and where to intervene. So how do we draw that line? Because I have a delivery manager as well, and me, I'm working as a Scrum Master for multiple projects. So I'm really not sure that being a leader, where to draw the line, and what are the key areas of the deliverables which I would not be reacting to. So how do we draw that line?
Exactly. So for I mean, this is a situation most of us face. So we are really clueless. I mean, where in that situation are we supposed to intervene, or maybe support, or maybe talk, or
Mhm.
where we are supposed to keep quiet? It
Yes.
really depends upon what type of situation it is. If you notice, for an example, it is about conflict, just an example. So obviously, if you are dealing with a conflict situation, when I say conflict between two members, in any which case, you as an agile leader, you're not supposed to solve that conflict. You're just going to facilitate that both the people, to give them a platform so that they can speak, and you're not going to give out any solution or resolve that conflict. So that is the situation. Second case is, if it is something related to deliverables, right? So if deliverables are like if the team is stuck, or maybe if the team is not able to find a solution to their technical solution to their problem, obviously in that situation as well, you are going to facilitate that conversation, or you are going to just hear to both the parties and understand what is the root cause. However, having said that, you're not going to solve that problem, because you are kind of enabling and empowering them to find the solutions to their own problems and not actually giving out solutions. So it really depends upon what type of situation are you dealing with it, and to resolve or maybe to draw that line, you what I would suggest is you just go back, if you're working as a scrum master, so you should go back to the scrum guide and see what are the roles and responsibilities of the scrum master. So if the problem fits into your roles and responsibility, then definitely you should be trying to give out answers to that. If the problem is not boxed within your roles and responsibility, then you should be staying out of that situation.
Right. So, Ramya, one more question. Maybe anyone can answer if that is a relevant question or you guys know the answer. When a Scrum Master, I mean, is Scrum Master responsible to take care of the logistics of the project?
Vivek, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, sure, Ramya. So, Vishaka, when we say logistic, what exactly is it? It is something uh, related to the which is involved into a day-to-day activity, or then it's something not part of.
Yeah, so basically, Vivek, what logistics, when I say logistics, I mean that all the arrangements that are needed to be done, any involvement of people or any tools or
So yes, I mean,
anything.
yeah. It is we should be seeing it in this way, that whether this thing is impacting them to efficiently complete their work or not. And in case if
Governments and
it
all. Because,
is,
yeah, why I'm
sorry,
asking this question,
yeah.
Vivek, why I'm asking this question is because when we say that Scrum Master always guides the team, right?
Hmm.
And they take care of everything, whatever they do, as well as delivery manager is responsible for the deliverables, right? So, does the presentation or the logistics part lies with Scrum Master? Because isn't that to be done by the delivery manager?
Yeah,
Is my
to some
question.
extent, yeah. To some extent, to your answer, yes, it is, and to some extent, it is also. I would say that since it is a day-to-day activity, and we are involved into ensuring that the team, performs
Right.
as per, and they are not getting impacted, or they are not getting, distracted with all these things around. What all things are happening around. So what we can do is, obviously, we cannot expect them to take care of that. So maybe as a as a scrum master, or what we can do is we can at least ensure that things are being noticed. People, whoever are responsible for taking care of that, they are notified about some things which are lagging, which is not helping the team to perform in the way that they are expected to. So maybe as a scrum master, what we can do is at least ensure that those things which are impacting them, people are not getting noticed about it, and they are ensuring that those are taken care of. I mean,
Right,
that is
Vivek.
where
So,
we would, yeah.
right. Thanks for answering that. Why I raised this question is because we always talk about the roles and responsibilities of a Scrum
Mm,
Master, Scrum
yeah,
Team,
yeah,
PO. There is no responsibility mentioned in Scrum framework about the technical manager. There is no
yes.
responsibility mentioned, but in every team, that person is there. Right.
Yeah,
In
but if
every
you see,
team,
Visha,
undoubtedly
yeah.
the delivery manager is there. And also, we never talk about the Scrum Master's role or the key responsibilities while delivering any project. I mean, all these
Yeah.
things that are mentioned in day-to-day lives, like sprint reporting, wiki maintenance, and maintaining the Jira. I mean, whose responsibility is this? Is a very gray line for me, at least. So I'm
Yeah,
really
and it
trying
is,
hard
if
to understand.
you go by the Scrum Guide mentions that, this Scrum Master is supposed to be, helping the PO. He needs to be helping out the team. He also needs to, take some initiative at the organization level. But the
Correct.
Scrum Guide does not mention anything which, the Scrum Master is not supposed to be doing.
I
It,
know, I
yeah,
know.
it has mentioned that, we should be there to help out the team to make it more efficient. Now, if you consider it like how they can be efficient or how they can be, more help, in a way that we can help them have a higher throughput. So if you consider this issue as which is impacting them, then maybe I would say, yeah, the Scrum Master needs to ensure that they are not getting impacted by this. But obviously on ground, we won't be able to get everything from a logistic point of view to help them out. But yeah, we will have someone who will take care of it. Maybe you will have
No, but
someone as called as a PMO as well. So the PMO might also take care of certain things within the organization or within the project as well. So maybe we can make it noticed by the PMO, and then maybe the PMO can take care of all those things. Ramya, you
okay, what
wanted
is
to add
what is
something?
your role of
Wha- Vivek, one simple example I wanted to give it here that recently
Yes,
happened to me, this logistic thing. Our team members, few of the team members, they don't have the IntelliJ license for them. They just install free software on their laptops by the service desk team. They raised that issue to me that they want the license. But I am not the concerned person to provide the license, but I have to call out to a person and I have to make them clear that their voice is heard by the person who can
absolutely,
provide that license. So
right?
that is where the
absolutely.
Scrum Master will resolve these things, these logistic things, like it can be an impediment
Right.
tracker or
Because
Yes,
which is very
something.
much fine. I mean, we are the facilitators and we can, anytime facilitate and make sure that the team works at their comfort. But my question
Right.
is, moreover, when we are especially talking about the day-to-day reports, reporting part, documentation part, and project report part, is it the responsibility of a scrum master or a delivery manager? Because see, we work in different companies and that culture is very much different, and this topic is never being talked on. So I'm trying to figure out, talking to different people, that what is the best way, because when we say that team should be self organized and we should do less documentation, but still the presentation of the project is needed. So who is the right person to do that?
Yeah.
Because if Scrum
So,
Master is only doing ceremony part, then Scrum Master is not the right person to talk about the status of the project.
right. So, Vishaka, what I would do is, what I would want to just add over here is, um as you rightly mentioned, this is like nowhere mentioned whether Scrum Master should taking care of the logistic or any other issues, or maybe how do we do, or how do we get these guidelines from, right? So, if you notice, there is something called as removing impediments of team, that is mentioned as roles and responsibilities of a scrum master in scrum guide. So that impediment can be of any sort, right? So if logistic is their impediment, so as we all say, right, a scrum master need not be technical. He can just facilitate the meeting to just have a discussion between the right people and find that solution. Similarly, you are not expected to give the solution to that logistic. However, you can just, if you do not have that solution, you can guide a team that, okay, you can reach out to so and so person who would be helping you out in reaching in resolving this issue. So this way, at least you're giving them platform. Or else, at the most what you can do is, if you know of some person, you can just ask that person, introduce both the parties and tell that this is the issue, how can we resolve this issue. So this is how you can resolve the impediments of team members by actually not resolving but enabling them to find solutions. So this is one way of doing it. And second point you rightly mentioned about any technical role such as technical manager or who is going to take care of the deliverables and this and that, right? So the sprint backlog is ideally owned by the development team, right? Which means that the ownership of that deliverables lie with the development team. So, and we also talk about self-organizing and cross-functional team, which means team should be matured enough or self-organized enough so that they can take care of their own deliverables. But as you rightly mentioned, that never happens. That team is at that maturity level that they take care of their own deliverables. In such case, it is not the Scrum Master who should be taking care of the deliverables or the progress. What people as a makeshift arrangement, unless and until your team gets matured as a makeshift arrangement, what we can do is we can at least have someone represent that entire development team. I'm not saying a senior person or a junior person, whoever volunteers or maybe whoever wishes to take the ownership, we can ask that person to take ownership of the deliverables so that someone from the development team is taking care of. And now coming back to the managers, right? How much ever you say that you're working in a agile setup or you're working in a agile way, we still do have these roles defined and present in our organizations and in the projects. So in the worst case, what you can do is if you have these kind of roles already, you better can delegate these deliverables ownership to these managers so that that does not come up to the uh, Scrum Master to take the ownership of the deliverables. So even when I say that a delivery manager or a technical manager can take that ownership, it also lies, the ownership also lies with the development team as well. So it's like a collaborative thing. So this is where we can balance out these roles. And as you rightly mentioned, these roles are nowhere mentioned in the Scrum guide.
So thank you, Ramya, for answering my question. Just one last question, and I mean your answer is very much satisfying, pretty satisfying. Just last question. That when we say that we grow from a Scrum Master to Agile Coach, though we say that every Scrum Master in itself is an Agile Coach, but though when we actually grow as an Agile Coach from designation per se, that time can we say that all these responsibilities will not be the part of Agile Coach and can still lie with the Scrum Master, or Agile coaches are also expected in organizations to do these things? Is that so?
That really depends upon what or how much you are comfortable taking those responsibilities. If you ask me, I'm not going to take those responsibilities because, and that is where your working agreement comes into picture, right? It is very, very important to have that working agreement in place. And I must say, I have learned it hard way. I mean, when I was working as an agile coach in my first agile transformation project, I did not pay attention to the working agreement, and I am seeing that results in front of me. I have seen those results. What happens if you do not have that working agreement in place? Because in working agreement you can very well define what would be your roles and responsibilities and what is in scope and what is your outer scope. Even if you say that you're going to coach the team, right, you can go to an extent and name the team members, because trust me, when you go and go with this preconceived notion that no, we trust each other, and why there is a need to establish that working agreement and all of that, what will happen is, now for an example, now I am entitled as a agile coach for this group, right? And there are like 7 to 8 members whom I'm coaching. Tomorrow some new team members that who get added to your team, or maybe your team has grown from one to many, right? So what
Yeah.
will happen is definitely you have coached this team as an agile coach. However,
Yes.
you have not coached that team. So what will happen is if you have not coached that team already and you have coached only this team, there would be an expectation when you run this agile maturity or whenever you deal with your leadership of your
Mhm.
project, they will say that I still see that so and so people are not compliant enough on tools or processes or
Right.
mindset. But in reality you have not coached them, right? You coach only this group. So
Right.
that is where conflict happens, and that is very much
Right.
required that you
Mhm.
establish your working agreements and you
Right.
adhere to that.
Right.
That
So
will
Ramya,
resolve the
did
problems.
you get a chance to revise the working agreement or get the working agreement created again
So
after that?
yeah, unfortunately, I am like the first project that I worked on, right? So I was there for very limited period of say few months. So after that, what I did was, since there was no agreement in place, I had to take that thing on me. Okay, this team is still not matured. Let me train them as well. I had
Okay.
to redo everything since there was no working agreement. And
Right.
now since the team is matured, I am not no more part of that team or organization. So there
Right.
is no, I mean, for that project I did not get chance to establish a working agreement, but going forward after that, definitely a working agreement is something that I am following, or I would follow. That is for sure.
Thank you, Ramya. Thank you for answering the questions. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on with our topic. I'm just sharing my screen again. Yeah. Yeah, so we have spoken about this. So whenever you as a Scrum Master and Agile coach, you find that your team member is not cooperating, the ideal way of dealing with the situation is directly talk to him or her, and try to find out the reason and try to tell him or explain him or her what is his or her place in the entire team dynamics, and how it will help other team members, and what is the expectations from that person. So definitely talk to him or her is the right answer. Okay, moving on. I would like to bust a myth, which is doing agile practices is not equal to being agile. So people who think that doing agile practices such as implementing processes, tools, etc., and they think that they are being agile, then your assumption is entirely wrong. You have a myth that you are being agile. So doing agile is not equal to doing agile practices is not equal to being agile. So what does being agile mean? Yeah. So this is called as Agile Coaching Iceberg. So, and people who have not yet worked as an Agile coach or are still working as Scrum Master, do not feel that this session, wherever you're seeing Agile coaching, do not think that this is irrelevant. This is very much relevant even for Scrum Masters. As I mentioned, Scrum Master is also a team level coach. Okay, so this is called as a Agile Coaching Iceberg, uh, in which the tip of the iceberg is the 10% visible part, and 90% of the iceberg that is submerged in the water. And the 10% that is visible part are called is called hard aspect, and the 90% that is immersed is called soft aspects. So hard aspects are doing agile and soft aspects are being agile. And what is this hard aspect or doing agile is what we just spoke about it: processes, ceremonies, artifacts, tools, metrics, etc., which is called as IQ. And what is being agile? The 90% of it is something which are invisible, right? Which are soft skills, which are human factors, right? Such as values, principles, communication, motivation, shared vision, self-organizing team, cross-functional collaboration, facilitation, etc. So these are called mindset. These are called tool set. So this is EQ. So we are going to cover in this session how are we going to be agile. How can, if not 100%, how can we achieve being agility state by concentrating on these factors. Yeah. Now again, can anyone just tell me what is output and what is outcome? Is there any difference? Anything that
Ramya,
comes to your mind when we
Ramya,
talk
would you
about
be
output
sharing that
versus outcome?
iceberg picture with us? Would you be please sharing that? Can we
Sorry,
get that?
your voice is very low, Vishaka. I'm not sure if it is only for me.
Yeah, Ramya, so can we get that iceberg picture? I mean, that doing agile and being agile for
Sure, sure.
understanding.
Definitely.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by output and what do you mean by outcome? Is there any difference or are both same? Can anyone quickly tell me?
Output is in a subjective form.
Okay, just a sec. I guess my volume was low. Sorry. Yeah. And what is outcome?
Sorry, output is from more objective form. My bad. Sorry. So I feel output is more over a objective output. I mean, resultant is what I
Okay.
feel.
Okay. Any other answers from anyone? Anything that comes to your mind?
Output is like expected result.
Okay.
Outcome is like what we need to, what we are expecting to get to have that from that person or anything.
Yeah. So
Okay,
both
I'll
of, yeah.
give
Yes,
more
Vishaka.
clarity what Santosh is saying. Output is expected, as he said, that output is expected result and outcome is what is the actual result.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, both of you are uh, like right. If I have to put it, what is output and what is outcome? Output is like steps or tasks or to do that we do, right? For an example, in our context, in our project or service industry context, the tasks or to-dos that we have, like if you work on the user story epic, if you work on a feature, if you work on a product, so these are the steps. What that steps generate, the end result or end expectation out of these steps is your outcome. So if you do all of this, what is the outcome? The problem gets solved, you get new possibilities, new ideas, new requirements, customer adoption, or change behaviors, etc. So output generates the outcome. And if I have to simplify it further, just I would like to give an example of gym, right? So when people go for a gym or a workout or a CrossFit, whatever it could be, right? What is what you get immediately is the output. So what is the output of going gym? So you will have a muscle building, muscle toning, and physical strength. But what is your outcome of going to gym? So you will develop consistency. You will be more disciplined. Uh, the entire well-being, right, or wellness program for yourself would be developed. Basically, your physical and mental wellness would be achieved. So that becomes your outcome. So in the process of achieving these outcomes, your output is generated. So these are the immediate things that you get, but this is the actual goal that we have. So people go for a gym to have a physical and mental wellness as a whole. The wholesome goal is this. And in this process, we get these as well. So this becomes your output, this becomes your outcome. Okay, now moving on. Human behavior towards change and habit. So this is a very important and interesting thing. Now, many Scrum Masters or Agile coaches come and say, or maybe they have this notion that I am like trying my best and giving my best, but yet team is not driving or getting towards that change path, or team is not responding to the change, team is not getting that right agile mindset. Why is that happening? So right, so I would like to quote here the Kubler-Ross change curve. So whenever a change is thrown at individual or human beings, it goes through this curve of different emotions. So first it goes through shock, then it comes to denial, then it comes to frustration, then depression, then experimentation. After this point is when they start thinking towards that change, and that is when the decision making happens, and then integration happens. Just an example, um, we few years back have witnessed demonetization, right? So when this demonetization was announced, no one was thinking about the outcome of having this demonetization, or why there was this demonetization brought into existence, or why at least the government want this demonetization to happen. Everyone had gone through this change curve. Either they were angry, they were shocked, they were going crazy, as in what will happen if there is no note available from tomorrow. Everyone was like going crazy, running here and there, and trying to figure out how do we at this point of time have a liquid cash of new notes. Everyone were forming a big line and just cursing the government, right? After a point is when people realize the importance of it. I'm not going to explain why it was mentioned and all of that, but every one of us has gone undergone this entire change, and same goes with this pandemic as well. When this work from home was announced, pandemic was announced, everyone went crazy. I mean, how do we start working from home? How do we adjust? How do we draw that line and all of that? Now everyone has become expertise, right? So this is what happens when a change is introduced. Same way, whenever you introduce any change, whenever you say that this is what you're doing wrong and this is how you're supposed to do in your team members, with your team members, same thing happens. They undergo this change curve. So please do not impose or enforce anything. Let them sleep with these changes. Let them understand, sink in all of these changes, and only then let them realize the importance and benefits, and only then they are going to follow. So there is interesting rule called as 21 by 90 rule, which means it takes 21 days to create a habit and it takes 90 days to create a lifestyle. So to build a, or create a habit, it takes at least 21 days. So if you consistently do something for 21 days, it will become your habit. And if you do that same thing consistently for 90 days, it becomes a lifestyle. So just a tip I would like to give over here. If anyone from your organization, any leadership asks you that how much time that you would take for bringing in this change in agile ways of working, or bring this agile transformation in your projects. If someone asks you, which is not the right ask, but obviously everyone deals with numbers and all of that, right? So it is very difficult to put a finger saying that this is what it is. But to start with, you can say at least, to start with, we can see 90 days as the barometer, and then we will see where have we reached by end of the 90th day or end of 3 months. Let's see whether did we achieve it or not. Let's reflect after 90 days is what you can see. Okay, now comes the important point or important matter of this entire session. And I know we have already crossed the time, but we have already started. We also started late. So if it is okay with you guys to take it ahead, then we can continue. Or maybe if you want, we can take it in the next session. Even that is fine.
I would suggest, Ramya, let's take it in next session because it's already weekend. And I mean, that's my opinion. Depends on everyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
fine.
take it in next session.
Sure, sure. So if that is the case, then definitely we can take the this in the next session. And having said that, we have not whoever has not joined today have not missed much because we just we were setting up that context. And in the
Yes.
next session, we are actually going to see how are we going to achieve all of this. Okay, so we can
Yeah.
continue the same thing in the next session as well.
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
Ramya. Thank you and
Thank you,
apologies
Ramya.
as I ate up much of the time. So apologies
No,
on
no,
that.
no, not at all, not at all. The whole idea of having this session is to just learn from each other, right? So please do not apologize. Anything
Vishaka, you are
else?
representing everyone.
Yeah,
And I take
actually,
that as a compliment.
obviously,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, you should. Anything else anyone would like to know or ask? I know this is very heavy session to have.
Nothing much, Ramya. Thank you so much.
All right, if nothing else,
Thank you.
then I think we can close. Yes, Santosh, you had something?
Nothing, Ramya.
Okay. Sure. If nothing else, then I think we can close the call today. Thank you so
Sure.
much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all.